Hello, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions, and I thank you for your time. The topic of this webinar, under the umbrella of building nonprofits, is Learn to Solve Problems. Again, learn to solve problems. Before I get into the actual webinar presentation, I want to let you know that you can get a free copy of this presentation. If you want to download a PDF version of this presentation, all you have to do is select the link in the description or in the comments to download a free copy of this presentation, because sometimes it helps to download and print copies of the presentation so that you can have it handy as I go through it in case you want to write notes. You can solve community problems through 501c3 nonprofit organizations. And I would go further to say that that is a smart way to solve problems in your community, because when you create a 501c3 nonprofit organization, what you are doing is allowing your organization to be able to receive tax free money to solve the problems in your community. There are 15 tasks that I've identified that you should complete to start a successful 501c3 nonprofit organization. See, I've been doing this for 15 years now, and that is completing the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption to help people earn 501c3 status. And throughout my time helping over 400 people in 33 different states earn 501c3 status, I've identified 15 tasks that I complete along the way in the journey of helping them earn 501c3 status. So, in this webinar, I'm going to share with you those 15 tasks. For example, if you want to complete or create a nonprofit organization to help our youth, maybe a youth development nonprofit organization, these 15 tasks will work. If you want to create a nonprofit to offer veterans services, these 15 tasks will work. If you want to create programs to help senior citizens, follow these 15 tasks to start a 501c3 nonprofit organization for that purpose. Perhaps you have ideas to help single parents through a nonprofit organization. Follow these 15 tasks and you can do it. Maybe disabled citizens ring true to your heart. Maybe you want to start a nonprofit to provide specialized services for them. You can do that by completing these 15 tasks. And finally, boomers. A lot of times when we think of a nonprofit organization to solve problems, it could not be devastating problems. It could be problems of not having enough resources or enough activities. Baby boomers are very interested in having activities that they can do after they retire from working in the workforce. That's a problem if your community does not meet that need. You can create nonprofit organizations to meet the needs of baby boomers as well. These are just some examples of the many types of nonprofits I've helped people create using these 15 tasks that I'm going to share with you now. So here is the 15 task checklist. I'm just going to go through each task. I'm not going to spend a lot of time elaborating on each task because I do have resources where I do elaborate and provide additional information and examples and simulations for you. That's not what this presentation is about. So here are the 15 tasks, the checklist. Task number 1, describe the problem. You have to be able to thoroughly describe what is wrong in the community before you can solve it. Task number 2, validate the problem in the community. Just because you see something as a problem in the community, that doesn't mean it is an actual problem. You have to use data to validate that the problem does, in fact, exist in the community. For example, you may see people who are homeless as that being a problem in the community, but they may not see it as a problem. So you have to validate by doing research, by gathering data, by talking to people who may serve that particular target group to see if it's actually a problem before you can solve it. Task number 3, confirm that the solution aligns with at least one IRS purpose. You see, the IRS has what it calls purposes for 501c3 nonprofit organizations, and there are 8 purposes. Your vision or your idea or your solution that you want to implement to solve problems must align with at least one of those 8 IRS purposes in order for you to even consider trying to start a nonprofit organization. Task number 4, choose a broad name for your nonprofit organization. You don't want to choose a name that's going to prohibit you from growing in the future. For me, in 2003, when I started my nonprofit organization, I called it Panorama Computer Learning Incorporated. Panorama Computer Learning Incorporated. I used that name because I saw Panorama as being a vision. And the people who I was serving at the time were people who had been laid off or terminated from working in the manufacturing plants for years. And they were just thrown to the wolves. And they were told, you just need to learn computer skills so that you can get another job. Well, I wanted to meet that need. I wanted to teach displaced manufacturing workers between the ages of 40 and above how to use computers so they can learn new skills. But the name that I chose was good for that time, Panorama Computer Learning, because at that time I thought that's all I would be interested in doing. But 5 years later, God blessed me with a vision to provide community services to help Black male youth avoid getting into trouble. Well, as you can imagine, how did that fit in with my name? So when I started trying to promote the services for Black male youth using the name Panorama Computer Learning, naturally people would assume that my goal was to teach them how to use computers, which was not. So it caused so much confusion in trying to promote the services, which were life skills training for Black male youth that we were going to hire Black men to teach. It just didn't work. So I had to end up changing the name to a broad name. I ended up changing my nonprofit's name to a broad name. And the broad name is Comprehensive Community Based Solutions. Comprehensive Community Based Solutions. That broad name now allows me to add any type of program I want to add underneath that umbrella without causing any confusion. So I could add a program for youth, I could add a program for seniors, I could add a program for veterans. Those programs have their own program names, but under the nonprofit's umbrella of comprehensive community based solutions, it will make sense. So, this is a very important task. Think about it, give it some serious thought because I want to let you know that it takes 90 days for the IRS to make any updates to a nonprofit organization that already exists. So in that 90-day time frame, I really struggled to explain the name change that was coming to investors. And the last thing you want to do is confuse people who want to give you money. So choose a broad name for your nonprofit. Task number 5, acquire the employer identification number or EIN. You have to have an EIN for your nonprofit organization to include in your application for 501c3 status. You have to. The EIN acts sort of like your social security number acts for us. It is that identifying number that people will use to investigate the status of your nonprofit organization. That's what it's for. That's what it's for primarily. So, whenever you're asking people for money to support your nonprofit, always be prepared to provide them with your EIN so that they can go to irs.gov and do an EIN check to make sure that you are in good standing with the IRS before they invest their money. So let's do a recap of tasks 1 through 5. Task 1, describe the problem in the community. 2, validate the problem in the community. 3, confirm the solution aligns with one IRS purpose. 4, choose a broad name for the nonprofit organization. 5, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. 5, acquire the employer identification number. So these are the first 5 tasks of 15 tasks that you should complete to apply for 501c3 nonprofit status. Now, again, you can get a free copy of this presentation in PDF format. All you have to do is select the link in the description or comments to download a free copy of this presentation as my token of appreciation for your time. And I do hope this information is helping you organize your thoughts because you want to complete these tasks in the order in which I am presenting them. That is critical to your success. You don't want to jump around. You want to complete them in the order that I'm sharing with you because if you do that, then you will see that these tasks really are dependent upon each other. For example, task number 10 is dependent upon you completing task number 9 and so on and so forth. So please don't skip around. Do not skip around in completing your task, okay? And download a free copy and save it and keep it in your learning resources. Task number 6, file the articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State's office. So what that means is you have to file the articles of incorporation. But what are the articles? The articles of incorporation are the state level requirements that you have to file at the state level, stating what your organization is about. What's the purpose of it? How many board members are you going to have? The name, addresses, and phone numbers of the board members. What's required in the articles depends on the different states. Each state has a different way of requiring you to apply or to file your articles of incorporation. You see, you have to complete an application with the Secretary of State's office in the state in which you plan to operate. You have to complete an application to file the articles of incorporation. The articles of incorporation, the filed version, will have a stamp probably in the top right corner that says it's filed and the date. Okay. You would need to include a copy of the filed articles in the application you submit to the IRS to earn 501c3 status. The reason being, the IRS is not going to give you 501c3 status if you don't have your articles filed on the state level. So, in task number 6, go to the Secretary of State's office where you plan to operate your nonprofit. Locate the application you need to complete to file the articles of incorporation. Complete that application and submit it with the processing fee. There will be a fee for them to process your application to file the articles of incorporation. Once your application is reviewed and approved, then it's deemed as filed, and you will have a, a stamp on the top right corner that says filed and the filing date. You will use that particular document to include in your application to the IRS. Now, some Secretary of State's offices will give you a certificate of filing. So again, it varies depending upon the Secretary of State's office. So that's task number 6. File the articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State's office. Task number 7. Write the bylaws. The bylaws are your governing document for your nonprofit organization, so you have to write those. Task number 8. write the Your Activities. The Your Activities is another document that you have to write from scratch that explains exactly what your nonprofit organization is going to do. What is it going to do? The Your Activities document should answer these questions about what you're planning to do. The who, what, where, when, why, and how. Those 5 questions are answered in the Your Activities document. Task number 9, write the financial data report. The financial data report includes the projections of the projected revenues and expenses. I always start with writing my expenses, projected expenses first. And the reason that I do that is because you can look at Your Activities document and you can look at what you're planning to do, and you will have to assign costs to everything you're planning to do. If you're going to offer a youth development program to provide life skills training, then how much is that going to cost? Well, it depends on what you're planning to do. Are you planning to hire teachers? Are you planning to rent a space to offer your services? Are you planning to get books or other supplies and resources? Are you planning to take them on field trips? Are you planning to bring in special guest speakers? All of those things determine the expenses. Once you have determined the expenses, then you have to determine, that tells you rather, once you've determined the expenses, you determine how much it's going to cost. Okay, you always must be able to tell people how much your program costs. Okay, and let's say your program is going to cost $50,000. Okay, now you go back up to your revenue section and you project where you're going to get $50,000 from. Will it come from grants? Will it come from donations? Will it come from tuition from the boys being in the program? Where will the $50,000 come from? Those two components will make up your financial data report. And please don't do like I did. When I submitted my financial data report, I submitted it in the red. In other words, I had more revenues than expenses. And the IRS sent back a letter, and they will send a letter back to you after you submit your application if they have additional questions. They sent a letter to me like, okay, are you really telling us you're going to be in the red when you operate your nonprofit organization? We need for you to revise this financial data report to show that your revenues exceed your expenses or at least break even. Okay. So don't do like I did. Make sure your financial data report shows revenues exceeding or equaling expenses, not expenses being more than the revenues. And then finally, tax number 9, that's tax 10, the next one, task number 10, excuse me. Task number 10 is write the fundraising activities. So now that you have determined how much money you're going to need, $50,000, and you have explained in the revenue section where that money is going to come from, you have to elaborate on that section in the fundraising activities. So, for example, if you say, well, we're going to get grants, we're going to get tax deductible donations, we're going to get tuition, that's all well and good, but how are you going to get it? And what percentage of each category will comprise the $50,000? Are you going to have $25,000 coming from grant money and $10,000 coming from tuition and so on and so forth? You have to break it down in this particular document. So task number 10 is write the fundraising activities. So let's do a review of tasks 6 through 10. We have 15 total tasks, remember? So we're going to review what we learned in tasks 6 through 10. And as a reminder, I am not going into deep detail in this webinar presentation because I have other resources that I go into detail with each one of these tasks. So tasks 6 through 10. 6, file the articles of incorporation. 7, write the bylaws. 8, write Your Activities document. 9, write the financial data report. 10, write the fundraising activities. So those are tasks 6 through 10. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? Okay. Now, next, I want to show you that one of the resources that I've been hinting at is a do it yourself ebook. Learn to solve community problems through nonprofits. Your step by step guide to completing the 15 tasks correctly. So, like I said, the purpose of this webinar is not to go into deep detail about how to do this work, how to complete all 15 tasks, because I have this resource. It's a do it yourself ebook and it will guide you through the steps. So if you want to learn more than what I'm sharing right now, then I invite you to pre-order the new ebook. This is a new book. I am still finishing it up. It's not ready yet because I am going to include audio definitions for each task. Each task will have its own audio section, audio definition of what it is, demonstrations and simulations where applicable. Some of them don't warrant me demonstrating anything or having any type of computer simulation, but some do. And when they do, I will have that in the book. You will have a link to click on to go to irs.gov for me to demonstrate something for you. Example, the EIN, how to get the EIN. I would demonstrate for you in the ebook. The new ebook will be available on July the 7th, 2025. So, in about 2 more weeks. And if you pre order it today or before July the 7th, you will save. You can pre order the ebook today for only $25. The pre order sale ends on Sunday, July the 6th, because the book will be available on Monday, July the 7th. So you can use the link in the description and comments to pre-order the book. I have a link to pre-order the book in the description and the comments to pre-order the book. The regular price for the book is $40. So if you pre-order it before July the 6th, you will save $15. This book is a downloadable PDF. It's going to have audio links. It's going to have demonstrations and simulations where applicable. It's a robust book that I have been working on now for a couple of weeks to get everything in it that I think you need. And once again, please remember these 15 tasks are the tasks that I have curated over my years of experience creating or helping people start 501c3 nonprofit organizations across the United States. So it's based on my personal experience and successes because I have a 100% approval rating from the IRS. So I'm telling you, these tasks work. Task number 11, write the conflict of interest policy. This is another document that goes into the application that you have to write um, to meet the requirements of your nonprofit organization. Task 12, create the pay.gov nonprofit account. Now, you have to create a pay.gov account in order to submit your application because the pay.gov is the platform that you will use to submit your application to the IRS. When I started doing this work for other people in 2010, we used paper. I mean, it was hard copies. I would complete the application packet, include all of the attachments. I would package it up all nice and neat, send it to the clients to their mailing address because they would have to sign different documents. And then they would mail the application along with the processing fee to the IRS. And that only ended January 2020. Now we know what was going on in 2020. You can imagine when you said we're going to go online and then they're still accepting applications through the mail, it was chaotic. From January through March of 2020, they were doing both. They were introducing people to the new pay.gov account system, and then they were still accepting applications. It was chaotic to say the least. But now it's mandatory. You cannot mail in anything to the IRS anymore. You have to create the pay.gov account and I will guide you through that process. I have a job aid. Speaking of job aids, whenever I need clients to complete things that I can't complete for them, I send you a job aid so that you can do it yourself. So in this ebook that I am promoting, I will have the job aid in there to create the pay.gov account. Task number 13, Finally, complete the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption. That is the official name of the application that you would use or that you would complete to apply for 501c3 nonprofit status. That is the name. It's a long name. Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption. And I only use the long version. I do not use the 1023 EZ. I'm not going to get on my soapbox and explain why in this webinar, but I do explain why in the ebook. And in the ebook, I do provide you with a sample of the Form 1023 so that you can know how to answer the questions. It's a 40-page application, but you don't need to complete all of the pages. You only complete the pages that are relevant to what you want to do through a nonprofit. And I explain all of those things in the ebook. Task number 14. Process the IRS application fee. So the IRS charges a fee, of course, to process your application. As of the recording of this webinar, the fee is $600 for the long version, which is the only version that I use. So it's $600 for the IRS to process the application. And again, one of the demonstrations that I will show you in the ebook through a link is how to get to that payment page in the Form 1023. Task 15 of 15. Yes, we're on the 15th of 15 tasks to earning 501c3 nonprofit status to solve problems in your community. So, task number 15 is wait for IRS response. That's very, very hard. Once you submitted your application to the IRS and you've processed your payment, you have to wait. It's the waiting period. The IRS asks for 6 months to process an application. Now, a lot of times it does not take 6 months to process an application, but that's the time frame the IRS requests. And so you have to wait. And during that time, the IRS may reach back out to you. They have questions about your application. Like, for example, when I told you they reached out to me and asking me, okay, what's going on with this financial data report? You are listing yourself as being in the red. We can't approve your application if you're telling us you're going to operate in the red. So that was an example of how they came back and asked me to make a revision. Sometimes they'll come back and ask you for clarification on something you want to do. Sometimes, if you are doing work in another country, you may have to attach additional information. So, for example, the OFAC document, it all depends. But what I want to emphasize here is that when the IRS does come back to you and ask you for more information, you are given a very short turnaround time to provide that information to the IRS. And you have to get it in, because if you don't, that will signal them to think that you just say, forget about it. I don't want to apply for 501c3 status. Just forget it. And they will. They will cancel your application, and you can't come back and say, oh, no, I meant to do it. No, you didn't respond in the time frame that we requested. So we canceled it. And guess what? You have to start all over again. That means resubmitting your application. That means making your payment all over again. Now, ideally, the IRS won't ask you for additional information. They will just go ahead and process your application and let you go on with your life doing the good work you want to do. But again, you have to wait. So during this waiting period, what you can do is to start meeting with your board, reviewing the application that you submitted with your board, making sure they're all on the same page. You can start advertising in the community. What are you planning to do? As long as you don't accept any money. If you accept money, that's fraud and that's illegal. But you can get your marketing materials ready. You can go ahead and set up your Facebook pages, all social media um, pages, whatever you want to use for social media, your website, whatever it is. You can start working on that now while you are waiting for the IRS to respond. So let's review the last 5 tasks, tasks 11 through 15. 11, write the conflict of interest policy. 12, create the nonprofit pay.gov account. 13, complete the Form 1023 application. 14, submit the IRS application processing fee. And 15, just wait. Wait for the IRS response to the application. Again, a reminder that all of this information that I'm sharing with you right now is in my new do-it-yourself ebook that you can download. It's called Learn to Solve Community Problems Through Nonprofits, your step-by-step guide to completing the 15 tasks correctly. You can use a link in the description and the comments to pre-order the book, either one. There's a link in the description below this video, and there's a link pinned in the comments to pre-order the book. And what are you going to get? You're going to learn more. If you want to learn how to complete the 15 tasks required to start 501c3 nonprofit organizations, I invite you to pre-order my new ebook. This is a new book. I'm not even finished with it yet. I'm putting the finishing touches on it right now. The new ebook includes audio definitions for each task, demonstrations, and simulations where applicable. The new ebook will be available on Monday, July the 7th, 2025. Now, you can pre-order this book and save $15. You can pre-order the book today or anytime before July the 6th for only $25. That's the regular price of the book would be $40. It's going to be $40 on July the 7th. And ladies and gentlemen, it's worth way more than $40. Right where I am right now in the book is worth more than $40. But I want to make it affordable. I want to make it a great resource for you to follow so that you can use tangible steps to starting a nonprofit organization to solve problems in your community. Again, the links are available in the description or in the comments to pre-order the book. Now, one more time, you can download a free copy of this presentation. This presentation is free. All you have to do is select the link in the description or the comments to download a free copy of this presentation. You will see free copy of presentation link, and then you will see a link to pre-order the ebook. So 2 links to look for. Again, I'm Susan Woods, and here are my credentials. I am not about to read all of these credentials to you and bore you to death, but here they are. And these credentials, I believe, are what made me a credible person to share this information with you. I've done the work. I've walked the walk. Okay. I've started 2 nonprofits. One is a foundation and one is a charitable organization. I've been providing consulting services. I believe in continuing education, as you can see from my nonprofit management certificates that I've earned. I am a 3-time graduate of Winthrop University. I bring to the table, again, experience with over 400 clients representing 33 states in the United States. So I have the experience, I have the knowledge, and I want to share it with you. I want to share my knowledge with you so that you can do great things in your community through a nonprofit. Finally, since 2010, like I said, I provided concierge nonprofit formation services for over 400 people representing 33 different states. My approval rating is 100%. So if you say, Susan, you know what? I really appreciate everything you shared in this webinar. I appreciate being able to order an ebook, but I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do this work. I want you to do this work for me. And that's what I've been doing since 2010. People who just don't want to do it, don't have the time, don't have the interest, don't have the desire, whatever the case may be. They hire me to do it. And I use the words concierge because I do everything for you. You know those 15 tasks we just looked at? I complete each one of them for my clients, each one by one. So I can do that for you too. Just let me know if that's what you would rather do than to do it yourself. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. I don't take the fact that you spent this time listening to me and watching this video for granted. I thank you for it. If you have any questions, please just let me know. You can send me a comment on my website at www.trustsusanwoods.com. Thank you and have a great day.